What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in Wrestling with your guys over at THS Wrestling. Oh, my goodness. He walks alone, Neeson. Just, yeah! Just doing the thing. Guys, hope everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully all of you Dodger fans are sitting at the edge of your seat. It's 3-2 ATL right now. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. Maybe it'll just be Title Town in LA. We'll see. We'll see here.
The gold, baby. All the gold.
Matthew, what's going on, man? All right, guys. So Facebook.com/THS Wrestling News, Instagram.com/THS.Wrestling, YouTube.com/that hashtag show TV, and Twitch.tv/that hashtag show. I am John. I'm joined by Neeson and Johnny. Guys, how's it going?
Oh, just sitting pretty in the city of champions once again. It's a glorious day in LA, ladies and gentlemen. All we need is the World Series, and like this shirt has proclaimed, we will be rocking all the gold. Woo! Yeah. What's up, Parker? How you doing, Parker?
What's up, man?
Nothing to say. I'm doing good this week. I like how you brought up baseball, but they bring up the fact you have two football teams and how they're doing. But we'll get to that later.
The Chargers will never be claimed by LA. They will never. The Chargers are the Clippers of the NFL. They would never be claimed by LA.
They have a stadium.
The Rams have a stadium. The Chargers just live there.
I will say, as you can tell by my background, I am putting my resume out to NFL teams to get me on one of their bandwagons. I have a couple already, couple of interested parties. We'll get back to it later. 0 wins, 0 points today, guys. Good job all around.
Guys, I know this is not in a rundown, but I just want everybody, can you see who DM'd me?
Ooh, I see it.
Big things are to come, ladies and gentlemen.
Big things are coming, guys. Big things are coming. And I mean, speaking of big things, if you want to start out a day right and get some big things done, deathwishcoffee.com. Use the promo code hashtag show at checkout and get the strongest coffee in the land. In the land. The land that you're in, that's the strongest coffee right there.
Yep.
So make sure you check it out.
I heard that as LeBron's coming home, Bronny's drinking Death Wish. She'll be able to run away from him fast enough.
I think you already got that ass beaten.
Woo! Poor Brody.
And we were talking about big things, guys. We personally had some big news this week. We finally hit 1K in followers on our Instagram page.
1K.
Boom. There's
1K.
the proof. It happened. So everyone in the chat, thank you for following us on Instagram. Big shout out to Justin, the Wrestling Classic. The GOAT, who has basically helped us build our community on there. Thank you, sir. You are the best. And hey, let's get to 2K, huh?
Shout out
2K. And we have some other news about the Instagram in the middle of the show, like right in the middle.
Right in the hot middle, guys.
He heard the Braves drank some Death Wish coffee before the game tonight. Well, I mean, listen,
they're gonna run right out the stadium.
Listen, I mean, I don't know this Dodgers starter. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but that's another story for another time.
This is why basketball will forever be my favorite sport, because Dodgers continue Dodgers are an abusive relationship. Like, they are legit an abusive relationship. You continue to get your hopes up every year that they will do better, that they'll change, that they'll be a better person, and that they'll treat you better after taking them back. And what do? You fall for the same old banana peel in the tailpipe. Just the same old drip, the same old, every single time, every single year. How much money do you want to spend to buy a team to continue to lose and lose and lose? It should have been no reason why we had to come back from that deficit to make this a 7-game series. It should be no reason. No reason at all. We spent all this money on our pitching and on our hitting, and we didn't even. The first 2 games, we barely got some runs in. Look, and this is not a sports podcast, so let's just not go on to that.
It might be soon.
Shout out Dodger dogs, though. They're delicious. Shout out Dodger dogs.
17, City of Angels, Los Angeles Lakers.
I do need an LA team. We have discussed this.
Well,
I don't have an LA team now.
I've only been here for the Lakers.
I've only been here because I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't feel right. We'll talk about this later on our sports podcast.
We'll go to
the sports podcast.
Chargers.
Talk about it. Man, you gotta get the hell out of here talking about some Chargers.
They phone for you. It's a 2-for-1 special, John.
Exactly. The same with the Clippers. They have a 2-for-1 special as well.
Clippers, you get lineups.
You get a Kawhi in a PG, and you get nothing in the playoffs. 2-for-1 special, guys.
Ken says now or never for the Dodgers. As long as that sweet money's coming in, it's always now for them.
Hey, Matthew, we're gonna get to the new day. I promise. I have a lot to say. All
right, guys. But other big news: we had the 1-year anniversary show of AEW Dynamite. Boom! Look at that. Look at all those memories inside that logo. I thought the 2 promos they put out with all the champions and then all the challengers was pretty cool. I thought the overall show was pretty good, but I saw something on Twitter that I kind of wanted to bring up here. No championships changed hand in this anniversary, and a lot of people seemed upset about that, and I just kind of wanted to get your guys' take on it because while we'll talk about one match that didn't really have an ending, how do you guys feel about shows where they tout that all the championships are on the line and then seemingly nothing happens?
I get it that it's a ratings pop and you want to draw everybody in. I just think that it's kind of it's not filling. You didn't leave me with anything. And as much as you gave us a quote unquote hell of a match for a main event and an interesting ending, I still think that wasn't enough to how much you touted the show. It needed to be one surprise. It needed to be one big thing to walk away from my point of view. That's what I was looking for. And I felt like the Eddie Kingston wasn't enough for me to be like, that is the thing I want to walk away from the anniversary show. You're basically touting it as it was a pay-per-view. Like, imagine if that was a pay-per-view and they walked away from that. Like that, we're happy with that. We're satisfied with that. And I get it wasn't a pay-per-view, but at the same time, you get the most audience.
Pay-per-view quality.
Right. You get the most audience from your TV. So, yeah, man, that's what I think. What about you, Parker?
For me, it's low key like when it comes to pay-per-views, like, like when they have a pay-per-view like every month or like when WWE was just like 2 pay-per-views a month, I'm a little bit forgiving because half the time, not all the titles are on the line anyway, which I actually wouldn't want them to be. I'm a little bit forgiving. But as far as like an anniversary show goes, and again, it's like on this Wednesday night, you've been touting this up and everything like that. It sounds like a bait and switch. Like the thing about it is, though, like to Nisa's point, it is a ratings boost. But at the same time, though, this is your 1-year anniversary. I feel like you should have put like one of those titles should have changed hands. So again, kind of when he said like you walk away with something, you get this memorable moment. Plus, it like kicks off the storyline. Like, the thing about this, though, is that like this could have been like the next level. For example, we talked about how we didn't like Cody getting back the TNT title so soon, but maybe you leave it on Brody Lee. Cody loses, but then he gets another reshot tonight, and now he wins and gets it back. It's a little bit more special because it's on the anniversary show. It just feels like bad booking in a way, because especially again, when you have to think about too, though, when you have all those people tuning in, and we talked about the fact that the NBA playoffs brought a lot of new eyes to them. This is your anniversary show. You get a big jump in ratings. You've got a lot of new people watching for the first time. do something cool and impactful that's going to let them walk away with like, damn, that was kind of cool. That whatchamacallit just won that belt. I'm going to go watch and see if they will retain it next week. So I just feel like it was a missed opportunity and bait a switch.
And I think you make a good point to where why couldn't we have waited another week for Cody and Brody in the dog collar match? Why couldn't we have waited another week and then had Cody win at the anniversary show? Because we were supposed to be celebrating Jericho for the most part last week or 2 weeks ago, and it felt like that match took away from the celebration because a lot of people ended up talking about that more than the celebration, at least what I was seeing. So it felt kind of weird, and I guess that's a good point. They should have had the dog collar match on the anniversary show because that's a big time pay-per-view type match, and you would have gotten the title switch, and it probably would have felt a lot, I don't know, it would have been a lot cooler. And we have some stuff in the comments about the Orange Cassidy Cody match. And yeah, I you know what? I like the finish, but I also agree with Matthew to a point. Matthew says, I hate time limit draws. All of these pictures from AEW, by the way, brought to us by AEW.
Thanks, AEW.
Thank you. As we talk about things that we disliked about, but that's how it goes here. So
we're just being critical.
I hate time limit draws when they happen to seemingly the same person every time, Cody, and we get them. So it feels like this might be our third or fourth one for him. It feels like it's happened too often. And it feels like a stipulation that, and especially in this match, like, look, I'll tell you right now, Orange Cassidy should have won this match. There's no reason. As cool as the finish was, the 1-2 ding ding bells over was definitely going to be a 3 count. I think Orange Cassidy should have walked away with this. And the other thing that made me really angry in general about this match is why did we need to cut to Darby Allin before the match happened?
I was about to say that's exactly the one. I knew he wasn't going to win. I knew, like you just showed your hand, and what's the point of even having this match? Like, what are you doing with the biggest star that you have, Orange Cassidy? What are you doing with him?
Mm-hmm.
If you're just continually using to get the main VPs over. Like, you're building these people just to get the main VPs over.
It's weird. Do they think Cody's the face of the company?
Yes.
It's weird because think about this. When you get Orange Cassidy has gotten that organic build and everything like that, where he's come to this level and everything like that, where people love him. People are putting out gifs of him. People were sharing that during quarantine. People were showing that whole thing with him fighting who was it, Jericho, not fighting back and missing everything. And then you have Kenny Omega, who should have been the face of the company, but it's weird they keep putting this all behind Cody, and it's I don't get why. Again,
I think the biggest, and we'll talk about this in a little bit when we wrap up our AEW segment. I think the biggest problem that two of the biggest problems AEW ever created for themselves was publicly coming out and telling us these are our EVPs, saying these guys are the EVPs of the company. And the other thing that they've done and now backed themselves into a corner is Cody not being able to challenge for the world title. Because now it feels like he has to stay in this area. He has to stay in the TNT Championship title picture at all times. And it sucks. But also it feels like, you know what Jericho did? He said, I'm going to go after the tag titles now, even though that kind of seems to have faltered so quickly. But it's why couldn't Cody have done that? It just feels like this is his title. They created the secondary title so he could hold it after they made a stipulation that no one was forcing them to do. So
some people said, because I dyed my hair, I should go to the dark side. It's because of you. It's because of you.
That was so bad.
his promos may be equivalent to the Viola James snot nose.
Mm.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
just-
Cody's a great actor.
It's just we all agree Orange Cassidy should have won, right?
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
So now what I don't get is we're letting it breathe for a week, and then Orange Cassidy is going to get a title shot in 2 weeks.
Well, Darby Allin, where's Darby Allin coming to play on that now?
So
Like-
I don't know. It's
So is it going to be a triple threat, or is like they're going to break off and do something else?
I just assume that'll be the match at Full Gear.
How far are we from Full Gear right now?
November 7th.
Mm.
So a little less than a month out. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that to me, just that whole situation, it kind of took the wind out of my sails after, I thought Orange was going to win. Even though I fully knew he wasn't going to because they showed Darby. But yeah, I mean, Cody wins he wins, and now we're going to get a match in 2 weeks again. And it just feels like, bleh. And then even like Cody and Darby feels kind of stale. Because I feel like we've done that a couple of times already.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you know what? Well, let's move on because there's another interesting segment that happened with MJF and Chris Jericho, where Sammy Guevara finally gets his jacket. It's 18 sizes too big, which was pretty funny. And then MJF basically says, without saying, he says, I want to join the Inner Circle, and we're going to have a sit-down steak dinner next week to I guess, talk terms. And I find this very interesting because one of my friends mentioned to me, what if MJF joins Inner Circle and from the inside out kicks Jericho out of his own faction, much like The Rock did with Farouk in the Nation of Domination. And when he said that, I said, I'm 100% on board with that. But I think the only person that wouldn't be the mind games wouldn't work on so right now is Sammy. So we'll see where that goes. But what do you guys think of MJF joining the Inner Circle and then that scenario where he basically nice guys his way to the top and then forces Jericho out?
Yes. More Daniel Bryan's yes. Man, if that's where we're going, absolutely. And I think it's played perfectly because everybody's against it at first. And it could be like the Nation of Domination thing. And next thing you know, MJF turns on them and they kick him out. And that's one thing Jericho has done. He has given time to the younger talent, and he has put them on and put them over. And this will be the greatest part of Jericho's legacy, by Jericho first having his only faction in his career and gifting it to MJF. I am at that. I see this ending in no other way than that. So to your friend, kudos. And I want nothing else to happen. If it does, I just may hashtag cancel AEW.
Wow.
Damn.
Shout out to Dan. Great idea.
Yeah.
Dan.
Great idea, Dan.
Damn. For me, like on one level, like I'm interested by the whole storyline. Like the whole storyline is interesting with like the whole like, do I want to join? Do he not want to join? And like them going back and forth. It's fun to watch and everything like that. But if he does end up joining and takes out Jericho from the inside, it's low-key kind of perfect in a few different ways. Number one, if you think about Jericho's career, this is usually by the time he takes a break to go tour with Fozzy for a while. And so it feels like it's lined up with that time again because he usually likes to go on break for like a couple months, like, chill out, let his body heal. Almost like, what's it called? Lisa, what's that thing the Quiet was doing that everybody made fun of him for?
Load management.
Yeah, like load management away. So if he did that, like gets taken out, he leaves for a couple months, rests
But
up.
you see what happened to the Clippers by doing that, though, right? Okay, continue. Sorry.
The Spurs also did it. The Spurs also did it. So if he does it the way the Spurs did it, comes back even healthier, who knows? Why'd you shrink me back? Why'd you shrink me back? And so, who knows, maybe gets a championship or something like that. I think it'll be really well done. But honestly, like again, like it's dope because again, he's like passing on to the new generation. Because Jericho's done a really great job at his time with this company and building up all of these new stars. And so the thing about it is though, like when we look back on Chris Jericho like 10 years from now, we're gonna be like, yo, this person, he put over and took them to that next level. And so if he does this for MJF, it could be perfect. And that way MJF has his own faction. Because that's the other thing too, though, right now with AEW, we got a lot of factions running around, and they can't even do the right thing with AEW. Sorry, not with Dark Order. So I wouldn't want them to give MJF his own separate faction right now. This would actually be cool, like to inherit this and take it over. So that'd be cool.
It would be. I mean, I can just imagine the promo now where it's like, you know, Chris, I really wanted to join the Inner Circle, but I just thought I'd take it for myself, and they just beat the shit out of him. That would be insane. And I wonder if Wardlow would come along with him, or if we would. I think Wardlow needs to. I think it's time for him to go his separate way. No,
not yet. Not yet. Just because you don't. If he goes the separate way after that, like maybe go something with Jericho and him and Jericho go off and do something, but you don't. Warlow doesn't have enough to stand on his own too. Like he doesn't have. Who is Warlow? You know, like who is that?
True.
Like you have to same thing that we're doing with. I know we're not talking about it at all, but like the Murphy and Rey Mysterio thing. What's great about the Murphy thing is Murphy didn't have anything going for him just besides the fact that he was a good in-ring wrestler. Now, like even though people have their opinions on how to think, whatever it may be, blah blah blah. Now leaving from this, he actually has the breaking up with Seth Rollins. He has the mind games with the daughter, Rey Mysterio, Dominique thing.
Yes.
It's a whole like he has something to stand on in order where people could be like, I hate him for that, or yo, I like besides just the in-ring work. And I think that's why people a lot of times as wrestling marks and as smart marks, we love people's in-ring ability, but it's more than that. It's the story aspect to that. And Warlow, to me, I think he's great. I just think he doesn't have anything to sink his teeth into yet. So he just can't. They can't break away. He has to come. He has to go into the Inner Circle, and then they have to slowly kick him out.
I mean, I could almost see it as if this happens, they kick Jericho out, they kick Jericho out, and then MJF goes, and Wardlow, you've been stepping out of line for way too long, buddy, and then they just beat the shit out of him too.
How is Wardlow's mic skills?
I don't know. I legitimately do not know.
There it is.
I want to talk about Eddie Kingston, and hear me out. I mean, the main event. Let's talk about the main event first. I'm sorry, Moxley versus Lance Archer.
I mean, we can skip it, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
No DQ. I thought it was fine. The other thing I'm not enjoying about AEW is all the picture-in-picture nonsense. Can they not say to TNT, "Hey, can we just have this? This needs less commercials." Can they do something like that? Can we do something like that, please? Because I feel like we're cutting away from a lot of stuff that should be front and center on the screen. Moxley retains. Eddie Kingston comes back in wearing a sweet Expos jersey. Vlad Guerrero, great stuff. Anyway, he comes in with the Lucha Bros. They celebrate with Moxley, and Moxley takes a back fist to the future for his troubles. And Eddie, once again, they cut it off, and I think this would have played a lot better if they had given him the time. If you have not seen the unedited, I think it's a fan cam, somebody has the entire promo of him yelling at Jon Moxley, and I am fired up because Eddie Kingston keeps saying, I didn't quit. So I can almost guarantee at Full Gear, we're going to get an I Quit match between these two. And I am 100% on board for it. It was great. He's like, you married your beautiful wife and you got all this stuff when you went to the land of entertainment. He's like, I would die for this sport. I would die for it. And he's like, dude, it's amazing. Eddie Kingston, let's have him end every Dynamite for a year. I'm here for it. What do you guys think about, and I know we talked about it, like not the best way to end an anniversary show, possibly. What do you think of Eddie Kingston going back for Moxley here?
Not the best way to end an anniversary show if it had nothing else of substance in the show. I just want to clear that.
Right.
I think the way they ended it, that's a great way to have it as a tadpole to say, this is where we're going for the future. This is the tone that we're setting for the main event. This is the type of violence. This is the type of words. This is the type of the type of temperature that our main event card is going to produce. I think that is great. I think it's amazing. And so as such, I think Eddie Kingston he has the rare ability to not cut wrestling promos, but to talk to you straight. Like, he's not cutting a promo. He's not cutting I'm reading from a page or, I got to get these points in. No. He's coming at you straight. He's coming at you like he's having a conversation on the block, like he's met you on the street, XYZ, whatever words you want to use, but he's coming at you as that. He's coming at you as Eddie Kingston. And I think it said something because to me, Moxley, I've never been a fan of Moxley's promos. And Moxley's very, very animated with promos. He's very Busta Rhyme-ish. Like, he's weird. Like, I don't know. That's how I can explain it.
No, that I get that.
Yeah. So I think with this grounds Moxley. Like he can't get grounded in a feud going against Hammer Hulk Lance Archer, whatever his name is. That doesn't ground anything. And plus, are we going to talk about how AEW continues to bring in big guys to destroy them? Are we going to talk about that? Are we going to talk? Is that going to be a thing? Like, hey, I'm going to make this guy seem like he means something. And then he's never going to win. And then instead, he's just going to throw people to the ceiling backstage. Are we going to talk about that? No. Yeah. That's just my thoughts. I think it was great. I can't wait to see it. If it's an I Quit match, it's going to be interesting because now we're going to compare the Tribal Chief versus Eddie Kingston.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Who was the better heel in their I Quit match? Was it the Tribal Chief or was it Eddie Kingston?
We'll see. We shall see. All right,
Parker. That's you. Nope.
Yeah. Oh no, you go ahead. You good? Because I didn't see that part. We're good.
All right. Okay, so wrapping up AEW here. It's been 1 year, guys. 52-ish shows. If you were to give AEW a grade, Dynamite a grade, what would you give them? And chat, I would love to know what you would give AEW Dynamite first year, full year. What grade are you giving them?
I am giving them a B for Banks because they definitely have. I wouldn't say they exceeded expectations. I feel like they did everything they needed to do to make a name, to make a statement, and say we're going to be here for a little longer than what people thought. This is not just a little old thing. I think for the pandemic, it didn't hurt them, but by them continuing to put on shows, it showed that, hey, we're not going anywhere. And also I seen that note that Cody put up on his Instagram where they're doubling, they're 5 times NXT's audience in the UK. They double Raw's audience in the UK. And they almost double SmackDown's Raw audience in the UK. So just those numbers alone just said something like are staggering because UK was such a big audience for WWE, and now AEW just snatched that. So man, they get a strong beat from me, man. They're doing their thing. They still have some flaws. They still need to get out of the elites. Basically holding up everything. But they're getting there, man. They're getting there.
Mm. I would give it an A-. And the only reason why I would give it an A- because I agree with Neeson. It is kind of like a B, but the reason why I give it an A- is because the first year is so hard. But honestly, when they did this, my expectations were a little bit lower for them because I was like, "Fuck, how are they going to pull this off? Like, I'm not sure how this is going to go." Tony Khan, who the hell's that guy? But they brought it all together. Like, getting the TNT deal is huge. The fact they put that great marketing campaign. Like when I was seeing their commercials during the NBA Finals, like, fuck, damn, I'm already watching, but it makes me want to watch it more. And building out some of these new stars, as we saw about like Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, the Spanish God, building up all these people and everything like that. Like, I give them a lot of credit. And honestly, for me, part of the reason I'm giving A- because I'm putting them on like a little bit of a curve because I kind of feel that if the pandemic didn't happen, I'm just like, fuck, what would y'all have done if everything stayed on schedule? Like the NBA Finals happened in June, you drop a big pay-per-view like right after the NBA Finals, like early July, late June or something like that. Like, what could have happened? Like, what were your plans that you were going to pay for all this stuff and everything? And so, yeah. And so the thing about it is, is that like it could have been like hella dope and may take it to that next level. So that's the reason why. If this was just a regular year, blah blah blah, I probably would have given him a B2, but I'm gonna give him that A- to grade him on a little bit of a curve because I'm like, the way you made it through all this and everything, I get to give you a lot of credit. And they were also during the pandemic doing stuff before like WWE started doing it. Like they were surrounding the rings with wrestlers and things along those lines to give a little more energy. They've been trying to like do the open air thing so to get some people out there and whatnot. Like they're being smart about it, being safe and trying to get things done. And I gotta appreciate everything they're doing. I'm genuinely looking forward to what's going to happen for the rest of the year, for the coming year.
All right, for me, the chat's saying B-, and that is about where I'm going to go. There is room for improvement, and that one area is the women's division. They need to. I don't know what they have to do. And yes, we did have some injuries. Yes, COVID has taken away any international stars that we had, but they've got to do something about this women's division. It feels very stale at times. It feels like every time Hikaru Shida wins, they just are like, Nyla Rose is in the crowd, and then nothing happens with that. Not that I would want to see that again right away, because it feels like we've seen every match 1,000 times. And I mean, with Statlander getting injured and all of your Japanese and overseas talent not being able to come in, yes, that definitely has hindered their ability to run the division as they want to. But I mean, Britt Baker is coming back, so that should be good. And I do get the COVID thing, but also in this era, if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have Eddie Kingston. Straight up. He would not have been signed by AEW because NWA would still be going, and I think he'd still be there doing that. I mean, we also wouldn't have gotten Thunder Rosa, so there's a lot of things that happened because of, the deadly virus that could kill us all. So I'm going to go with a B-. I still think there is some room for improvement. I do think they did paint themselves into some corners that they do not know how to get out of yet. But I mean, some of them are very easy. Just turn Cody heel and be like, I'm an EVP. I'm going to fight for the world title. That's the end of it. But I mean, yeah. Hi, Nick, if you're still watching. But yeah, I would go B-.
B-.
That's what I would go.
Yeah.
So earlier we mentioned 1,000 people have subscribed and liked our Instagram page, and that is awesome. So as a thank you, we're going to run a little contest here. We have 2 signed copies of Vampiro's documentary, Nail in the Coffin, The Fall and Rise of Vampiro, Blu-ray. There's photographic proof signed by the man himself. Great documentary. You guys should definitely check it out. We are going to be dropping details about how you can win one of those copies on our Instagram page, instagram.com/THS.wrestling. There it is. It's right there. So make sure you watch that page for more info. All right, let's head on over to World Wrestling Entertainment.
Boo! Who said that?
Oh, wow. Goodness. Guys, draft is over. It's done. It is in the books. How are we feeling about our rosters? I have them in full. I'm not going to go over them all. But it seems like, to me, first glance, things look very even now, especially in the women's division. I felt like they did a really good job evening out, because I think for a while we were like, SmackDown they have all the great women's wrestlers, and it's not really evened out. Feels a lot more evened out now. And that, for me, is the one big takeaway I have, besides our next topic, which we will get to, which is the worst thing ever still, but we'll talk about it in a little bit here. But how are you guys feeling about, one other thing I'll say that I just absolutely hate is they do this like, oh, we're going to shake things up a bit. And then we move Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, and we move them. We just go boop and plop them over onto the Fox network. And I mean, we do some other stuff with some other storylines like that. But I mean, wouldn't it be a lot more effectful if because we did have the last like hurrah show for some of these people? Wouldn't it have been more of a crazy effect if Rollins got the last laugh and then they got shipped off to SmackDown, and then the next time they can meet is like Survivor Series or whatever? But anyway, what do you guys think of these rosters? Is there anything that you I don't know, that you enjoy about these roster moves?
SmackDown is the A show. It's clear as day. They got the top storylines going. That's why you move Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, Rey Mysterio, and Dominic over, because that storyline was so dominant that on Raw, that why not put it on your hottest show? So now you look top to bottom of that card, you have Sasha, Bailey, Roman Reigns, Jay, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, Dominic, that whole crew. That's 3 solid storylines that you're telling in a 2-hour show. Every Friday night, that show is going to move quick. It's going to be packed, and it's going to have action. So SmackDown has officially, if it's not been before, it is the A show. When you go over to Raw and you look at Raw Underground basically being canceled, which is weird, but
yeah,
it was a way to showcase a couple of people, and I forget their names off the top of my head, but you know who I'm talking about because they got drafted to Raw. I think it's interesting when you look at that roster and you see the people that they had. Like, you have Lana, which you move Natty, and it gives Lana, like, now Lana has a title shot. You give her room to breathe. You have Liv. Liv got drafted up to Raw, right? Or Riot Squad? That got drafted to
Riot Squad, SmackDown.
SmackDown. Yeah. I forgot the female. Oh, Naomi. I think Naomi and Charlotte got drafted to Raw. And I think Naomi is going to be a big player for them as far as females at Raw.
She better.
Yeah. And that's how you clear space for that, right? Like, so I think now what we're looking at is Raw is going to be the building. You have 3 hours, use that 3 hours to build. And now you have these factions on Raw. Use those 3 hours to make these factions and build these characters. Because that's what that time is for. So now we're looking at Raw as what SmackDown was back in the day, but they don't, to me, they don't have near as the heavy hitters as SmackDown had back in the day.
For me, things that I don't like, I'll go into those first. Was like, one, I didn't like the fact they broke up Heavy Machinery. Like, we kind of talked about it. Yeah, and the thing about it is, though, is that, like, we was like, dude, like, we talked about it for Money in the Bank. Like, you guys are making Tucker a solo star. And it was like, no, we're not. No, we're not. Oh, yeah, we just broke them up. Yes, we are. So now we have the hope that his, like, tag team partner doesn't get fired with, like, the next 6 months. So that kind of sucked. But I do like the fact that they moved the Fiend and Alexa Bliss to Raw, which I feel gives them a lot more freedom as far as like storylines you can tell. Because the Fiend kind of got to start with that freedom there on Raw, experimenting with some stuff, and then he brought him to SmackDown because again he was a main event attraction. But now going back to Raw is like cool. Let me play around and do some weird shit and introduce some new things. And I got Alexa Bliss at my side. We can like really run rampant and do a lot of fun storylines. So I'm really looking forward to that to see what they're going to do there. So yeah, all in all, like I need to wait and see how the draft plays out because they've moved a lot of people around, but I need to see how they're going to use them in each of these different different rosters. Because the thing about SmackDown is, aside from like bringing back Daniel Bryan, which is cool, and a couple other people, there's a lot of stable. There's those three, yes. There's a lot of the three major storylines that needs to point out that are there. They're going to carry them. And so I'm looking at SmackDown like, how the hell are you guys going to fit in those other storylines around there? Because you got those three major ones running, and you got to put stuff around that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they manage those 2-hour blocks of time. But Raw seems right for like a lot of fun. Like Raw can still and become like a really top-notch show because they have like so much time to play with and so many people down there that I have fun with.
SmackDown has abundance of riches. I know you said that. How they going to fit? But you got Street Profits, you got Kevin Owens, you got Aleister Black, you have Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. We're going to talk about it, but you have the Big E thing. You have so many other pockets that could fit around those three tadpoles. Like SmackDown really, really, really has an abundance of riches, guys.
They do. I agree with you. My whole thing is like, I just hope they can figure out how to play it well because one of my main criticisms of like this last Friday show, and I know a lot of people are praising it, and I liked the show as I was watching. I was like, damn, this is really fun. A lot of great matches on here. But one of these I was critical of is like they only have one women's segment. I would like to see at least 2 or more. And that was like my thing about them like on Friday night. So that's the only thing I'm worried about is that they'll find that balance because when I saw Sasha Bailey, I'm like, this is cool, but like, fuck man, come on, like what was Bianca Belair? She just got ST. And
that vignette. Vignette was fire, bro.
Yeah.
Like that.
She'll debut at the right time. I think.
Right.
I mean, I think they're doing a really good job with those.
I hope so, but I would have dropped the Jeff Hardy Freak match where they said Freak 38,000 times for like another like women's match, something like that. Or
I would just drop that man off the face of the universe.
Oh, you mean the Nazi porn freak, huh?
Yeah.
So one thing that I did like that they did with the draft that I told you guys, I'm like, this was perfect. They could have overbooked it so much was the handoff of the tag team titles between the New Day and the Street Profits. Oh, here you go. Switch, done. That's it. It was perfect. It was very short. Fine with it. That was perfect.
I heard some people not liking it. I don't understand
why.
That's the most sense. This is why before we went on air, I said I don't go on wrestling Twitter because everybody's just mad. This is why. Because when I do go in there, everybody's just mad for no reason. Like, why are you mad? Because they made the logistical sense-making decision of, hey, you have the same title, we have the same title, we're on opposite shows.
It like anything else would have made absolutely no sense. I think even like the shittiest of heels would have been like, this makes logical sense. Switch belts. Like, no, I want to keep this title that I'm for the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna defend it on the other show until I lose it. Like I heard people like pitching at us, like, why are you overcomplicating things?
There's no reason to do that.
We don't need to do that. We don't. But since we're talking about tag titles.
Oh, Johnny, did you have something to say about that? Sorry, before we segue.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the fact that, like, with other belts, they can just be interchanged. And I was going to say, like, given the fact that Bayley, when it was at round 3 or 4, what would happen if, like, she got drafted to Raw SmackDown? Like, how'd you guys feel about those belts just changing hands?
Same thing. You do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think the only titles that you could just switch and the people who have them it's fine for them to switch are the Intercontinental and US titles. Those are the only titles because they don't have a name attached to, they don't have a brand attached to them. So I just watched this New Day segment and let me tell you guys, this is hard. This is real hard to watch. because the last 6 years with these guys, we went from being like, man, this is terrible, to, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever, to please never let this end. And now we're just voluntarily waving the flag here. Straight up, I know how some people in the chat feel. This sucks.
Matthew.
This sucks. I hate it. It makes no sense. It just really felt like we were doing this just to do it. And I mean, look, I said on last week's show, I'm interested to see what Kofi and Xavier do as a full-time tag team. But they could have done that on the same show as Big E. We did it with Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't we do it with Big E? It just
biggest title.
It sucks. I didn't like it. I thought the promo was very heartfelt, obviously, because these guys they're brothers. They traveled up and down the road together. They didn't think they'd make it at one point because of how awful the New Day gimmick originally was. And then they made it their own. They've built their empire. They've made a lot of money. I mean, one of them became world champion at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. 9-time tag champs.
Yeah. It sucks. I hate it. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
It's stupid. It's a stupid move. And I don't want to play this. I don't want to pull this card, but I'm going to pull it. No, fuck that. I do want to pull this card. I've been preaching this, that New Day is the most positive black thing that WWE has ever had. Ever. They come on television, they had kids, they're wearing rainbows, kids are wearing rainbows, they're preaching about inclusivity and equality and being positive, the positive power of positivity. They're letting people legitimately feel comfortable about being themselves at wrestling shows. And you decide that because you feel that one man can't be on his own with still keeping that group intact, you have to break them up and you have to make them quote unquote serious, because you'll be damned if you see somebody happy, you see a black man happy and smiling getting a championship, being a face of your company. Like we forget when Big E came in, they told him to be stalwart, don't talk, you gotta be this, you gotta be that. Why is that? And so you break, and I get people in the chat, oh, it's been too long. Fuck that. That's old rules. Old rules is supposed to be tag teams are supposed to break up, factions are supposed to turn on each other. We consistently talk about doing things differently. As wrestling fans, we want something new. We want something different. So the minute that a positive, not only a positive force in the black community, but a positive force that allows all these kids. You look into that crowd, kids were wearing unicorn horns and cheering, no matter what they identified with. You break that up for an idea of one man possibly being bigger than what he already is, when he's already at the pinnacle of what he is. All you need to do is put him in the positions to be that person. How did he get there? How did Big E get there? It's by being with those guys. How did Kofi get there? It's by being with those guys. By being with those guys reminded us how dope Kofi is. It reminded us that. By being with those guys, it showed us that Big E is that guy. It didn't remind us, it showed us. So you break this up for what means? For what means? And so I get people saying that it's supposed to be a broken tag team and all this other shit. Nah, man. Nah, this was a time to do something new. 6 years, it didn't need to be broken up. It's just that you're so trained to think that somebody is supposed to turn on somebody in order to make things bigger. Let's address your psyche and how you feel about yourself when you look into the mirror. And let's address that.
I'll also say we're also trained to be like, oh, these two women wrestlers can't be friends. That's also another thing that we are trained.
That's a whole nother thing, but we're talking about the New Day. But yes.
Right. I mean that just goes into the like, oh, this has been going on for too long, that someone needs to turn on someone. Oh, these two women wrestlers are friends. They cannot be friends. Like it's just like very, just a very weird, just lazy storytelling.
You're gonna start calling the Becky Lynch because that literally happened to her like almost 3 different times.
That is facts.
Johnny?
For me, I agree with everything you guys are saying. And kind of like I said, next week, my hope is that this is just something that's happening right now because of like the pandemic and they're all filming out of the same place. And the moment they get ready to like hopefully go back on the road and like things start to like get back some type of normalcy, that they put those guys back on the same brand. And so I'm hoping this is a temporary thing. But Neeson like hit all the nails on the head. So I want to talk about like the match itself. And that farewell match was like fucking phenomenal. Like I was going into that worried that they were going to like lose or like something ridiculous was going to happen. But the opening part where they talk about like how they came together, talk about their careers was genuinely heartfelt. And honestly, the thing about it is though, like as a black man, the thing about it is that we're told like so much that, oh, you're not supposed to show emotion, or what like the expectation is we're not supposed to show emotion or cry, but to see all of them like tearing up at their bonds of friendship was a magical, beautiful thing. And it's like something that's inspiring. And it was something that was like super awesome. Like I akin it to like LeBron and AD when they're hugging and embracing, crying after they won the championship. Because like all respected that, and being the role model is supposed to be like by putting that emotion out there. Then the match itself, yo, shout out to Cesaro, Sheamus, and Shinsuke for showing the fuck up because they gave them a great match and put it all out there. Brought back the memories when they feuded with the Bar, gave all these great things. And I love the fact Sheamus like, you would be nothing without us. Because even then they were like, damn, this shit was fun wrestling with you guys. I'm going to miss doing this. And it was like such a beautiful like send-off and everything like that. And again, the end with the Midnight Hour, their first like tag team finish was just like so awesome. And get that 1, 2, 3 was just like so dope. It's like stay in the ring and Big E and them embracing, and he's just saying like, you guys are always gonna be a part of me. Like seriously, this is for life and everything like that. It was just like a beautiful thing to see. So at the end of this, the main thing that I'm hoping that WWE recognizes the fan reaction, recognizes the passion, recognizes their impact, and realizes that this cannot be the end. Because these guys have grown to such a stature that we need them to stay together, and we need them to come back and like continue to do, putting out all the amazing they keep doing.
Did you, before we move on here, did you see what Cash Wheeler said about the New Day on Twitter?
No, I didn't.
I wish I had the quote with me right now. I will try and pull it up really quick, but it's nice to see. I know the Usos put out something that said best tag team in the game. I know there was some other stuff that people put out. I want to pull up this Cash Wheeler tweet because it's very good. And I thought it was a very nice tribute from somebody, you know, who probably didn't have to do a tribute. There it is. 3 of the best dudes I've ever met. Guys who went out of their way to help others any chance they got. Still not sorry about the ice cream cart, though.
Oh, my gosh.
So
I'm still angry about that. I thought we were about to get New Day ice cream. I was so excited.
Yeah. They stopped the ice cream from happening. I mean, we got the little bar, the little box things, but it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same. But I mean, I also hope this is not. I mean, this probably is not the end for this trio. It sucks that it had to happen in general.
And he's right. They did put people over. Like they would have no mind losing and giving people a shot. I remember when they lost to the Shield, and everyone was like, "I want the New Day to beat the Shield," but they took that out and was like, "Nah, fuck it." But fine. But again, they're some magnificent people. But
that's why they're 9-time champions.
Absolutely, and that's why they are our greatest tag team of all time here on the show. All right. Something I was also very excited about on Wednesday, NXT wise, guys, not only is Halloween Havoc coming back, but it's time to spin the wheel, make the deal. I am so excited about this. Bring the wheel back up. I need to see this wheel. We've got look at all these matches we've got on here. Man, I can't wait for the wheel to be spun.
Casket match?
Yes,
match.
I can't wait for the wheel to be spun and for me to be horribly disappointed, as I always am. But I mean, I love this gimmick. I think it's so dumb.
Trick or treat street fight.
There we go. What do you guys think? I really wish they would just be like, oh, we spun the wheel and now it's a no rope exploding ring barbed wire match. I just really want them to be like, fuck it. Let's just go crazy.
If it let it in between two things, and they're like, you got to do both. Wait, what?
You got to do both. You know what? That would also be very funny.
Didn't Eric Bischoff do something like that when he had the wheel? Like they did the wheel thing in Vegas?
That was yes, that was every match was a different. They spun the wheel. Yes,
wasn't on something
Raw.
In the middle.
Raw roulette.
Yeah, raw roulette. They landed in the middle or something like that.
Yes. So, are you guys excited for Spin the Wheel? And I believe it's for the EO Candice match, right? And it's for the Johnny Damian Priest match. So it's for both of those matches.
Yes, it's for both of those matches. I'm not excited as you are, but I am excited, and I hope it's a blindfold match so I could call it NXT Bird Box.
Oh my gosh.
Fine with
Box
it.
Match.
Johnny, what do you think of this?
I'm genuinely excited. I'm loving the fact they're doing this and everything like that. I think it could be really fun. It's gonna make this pay-per-view really stand out. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm interested. I'm looking interested in these titles too, because I don't know what titles are going to exchange hands that night. Because in a way, I feel like Io Shirai, I feel like it's too soon for her to lose this belt. But at the same time, though, she's had a good run. So if she lost it, I'm like, I can't be mad at you. But so it's interesting. And then Johnny winning the North American Championship is I'm not sure how good Damian Priest is actually doing carrying that belt right now, to be honest. I'm not sure how people are responding to him. I feel like he's getting kind of a lukewarm reaction. So I'm wondering if they're thinking about taking the belt off him to kind of boost it up. So, one, I'm excited about the wheel. Two, I'm excited about the matches. And by the way, you two have scarred me because every time I see William Regal walk out now, I expect him to go,
War Games. War Games. Johnny Gargano, you will face Damian Priest in War Games.
Speaking of which, we're about a month away from War Games, and I'm really excited.
All right. Something else that everyone should be excited about before we move on to our next topic, which I said I would do better at timing. It's 3-3 right now. Oh my goodness. Cheat to win. Love it. You guys have to leave me alone if I beat you. Oh, I win via disqualification. And that's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air status, right?
That's good. I also love the shot of MVP when he takes the chair and sits in the ring, the three of them sit behind him. I'm like, that's just an album cover. That shit looked hard as hell.
All right, guys. We might be here for a little while. We're about to hit the hour mark, but we have some business to take care of. PWI released its top 100 female wrestlers for the year from October 2019 to October 2020. Here's the cover. There are the top 5.
Dumbest shit ever.
Neeson, I'm gonna let you go, sir. I'm gonna let you go. What are we thinking here?
Wait. Disclaimer. Please send children to another room. You're about to hear some words you may not be familiar with, but just prepare yourselves. Neeson.
How do you have... I didn't even see the cover, by the way. I didn't see it till we started this show. How do you have Bayley and Sasha centerfold of the cover? Center. Bayley number 1 and Sasha Banks number 5. Oh, and your number 2 is Becky Lynch, which she's been out since April. Asuka number 3, which she just got the title in May, handed to her. And then number 4, Charlotte, which she's been out since April or May. Correct? Correct. Now this was apparently taken at the time was between October of last year to September of this year. Correct? Yes. Correct. What match was in October that we was raving about last October at Hell in a Cell? Don't worry, I'll answer it for you. It was Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. So, out of those two people, who's been around? And no fault to Becky Lynch, because, she's doing a beautiful thing by bringing the child into the world. Sasha Banks. Oh, Charlotte. She's been out. But what has she done for NXT and the things she was supposed to go back home and elevate? Where's the person that she was supposed to quote unquote elevate that she wrestled at WrestleMania? In obscurity at NXT, wearing kiss boots that are like platform boots, walking around NXT talking about she deserves a title shot because she's Rhea fucking Ripley. She didn't do anything over at NXT, but she's gone. And she has not been around. Asuka. Look, we all know. Asuka is one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. And when I say greatest wrestlers, I mean greatest wrestlers, man or woman, in the world. But if I tell you that there's one person that cuts an unlegible promo worse than Sasha Banks, it's going to be Asuka. Oh, and then also on top of that, she got the title handed to her. Legitimately handed to her to start this quote-unquote title reign. So who has been the talk of the town since she came back in August, by the way, turning on Natalya after she mentioned her recently dead father? Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has consistently made the women's division on Raw or SmackDown the top storyline in the last year. And you put her at number 5 ahead of at least 2 people that haven't been there in the last 8 months. 2 people. And then you put her under another person who got a title handed to her. And I get it. They could put titles on anybody. I understand that. But let's take this outside of that. Sasha Banks' net worth is $300 million. I looked this up. You can actually Google it, and you can go to celebrities' net worth, and you can find out whose net worth is what. Sasha Banks' net worth $300 million. Anybody want to guess what Charlotte Banks' net worth is? Anybody? Anybody in the crowd? Ain't you? Maybe you? $1 million. Now Becky Lynch's net worth is actually $4 million. And that is believable because Becky Lynch also has Super Bowl commercials. She also headlined WrestleMania, and she's also been the man. And she sold shirts as the man. So that's understandable. But Becky Lynch is taken out of this equation because she has been out with the pregnancy while she is breeding a little Seth Rollins or Becky Lynch into this world. Or a little hybrid, whatever they want to call them. Sasha Banks, I'll bring that up and say Sasha Banks is that chick. She's that boss. She's that person. She's that draw. By being worth $3 million in that company, plus being on The Mandalorian, plus like she's doing all this stuff and not taking breaks. Yes, she took a break the year before, but she's also shot shit during this year and still working every single week on prime time. And you rank her number 5. Number 5. There's no excuse why Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks should be 1 and 2. There is no excuse. They had the 2-woman power trip. We've been begging for that as wrestling fans. Begging for that as somebody else to get the Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin 2-man power trip. And what did we get? We got it 1-up. We got a 2-woman power trip. All the gold. I specifically wore this shirt for that reason. Because this is your number 1 and number 2. Right here. Bayley's been the top heel. Period. Since she cut those little wackety fadeable people. Since she got the Karen haircut. And the boss being next by her side, when the spotlight instantly goes to her, them doing the teasing the whole thing, and now it's tied for the number 1 storyline, and you rank her number 5? Fuck you, Dave Meltzer. And fuck whoever made this list. Because this list is garbage and it's trash. And it should be treated as such. And this is why I don't go with the normal internet wrestling viewpoints, because it just doesn't make logical sense. Help it make sense. Please help me.
So you would be fine if it went 1-2 Bayley Sasha, or are you saying you would rather.
Yes, it should be Bayley. Absolutely, it should be Bayley. Sasha. Bayley has held the title in the last 500 days. Bayley has only not had a title for 5 days, 5 or 6 days. Because remember, she lost the title and then she won it back at Money in the Bank. Right? So Bayley has held the title almost 500 days. Absolutely, Bayley deserves to be number one.
And I think the other reason why she at least deserves to be in the number one spot or around there is because she's done it as a heel. And at first it wasn't great. No, but then it became very, very good. So I agree that look, we all know how I feel about Charlotte. We have some people but I agree. Sasha should be higher, if not 2. I think 2 is as high as I would go.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And then Becky, we were kind of on the tail end of her stuff. I don't think she had like the strongest year. And I feel like towards the end, it kind of got a little stale a little bit. But look, man, when Sasha came back and removed her purple hair to show the blue hair and just beat the shit out of Natty, which I'm all for. I think that's where you go. I think you go 1-2 with them. Also very strange, right? Like you said, that they're both facing off against each other and one of them is 1 and the other one is 5.
It's the dumbest shit, man. I'm my soliloquy is done. I'm stepping off my soapbox and I just want to let everybody know that I will never view PWI as anything credible because of this, and everybody should treat them as such, as they're trash, they're garbage, and they deserve to get pissed on the curve. Continue.
Damn.
They did put one of my favorite Stardom wrestlers at number 10, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, true. There's nothing like Neeson said it all. Like when we saw the list, like my immediate reaction was like, damn, this is bullshit. How you win awards for not being at work? But okay. And honestly, the thing about it is that I was pretty pissed about Charlotte Flair as well. With Becky, I'm kind of like, okay, pregnant, I ain't gonna say shit about that. But like with Charlotte, I'm kind of like, bro, come on. They keep putting you like up here. And it's like, what the fuck are you actually doing? And the thing about it is, though, as Nisha's pointed out with all the great things that Sasha has done, like, no, like, this is kind of like the problem within WWE itself is that they continually overlook Sasha for fucking Charlotte on way too many gosh damn occasions. And the best part about Charlotte being fucking gone right now is that we get so much Sasha on a regular basis. And I'm scared to say that if Charlotte was actually here, this shit might not be happening. Because who the fuck knows what happened? They might just go ahead and make Charlotte part of this feud and make it a 3-way match or some shit happening in Hell in a Cell. So I got to be real that I'm happy that she's not here.
Don't say that too loud.
I know. But the thing about it is, I gotta be happy that she's not here and that Bayley and Sasha are getting the respect they deserve as far as like getting booked. But like outside of it, again, gotta put more respect on Sasha's name. Like again, she is the blueprint. She is the standard. When she came back, business literally went up. She's a legit role model that people look up to, and she's an authentic star. And honestly, she's at that point now where if she left the WWE, her star power is going with her to wherever comes she goes to next. And she's legit. So y'all start putting more respect on her name.
I agree. I'm just looking at this top 10 right now. I'm seeing like what I don't even think I'd have Charlotte in the top 10. That might just be my bias showing, but also I'd think there's literally many other women's wrestlers who are better than her. Must be nice to have a name. But
hey, I just realized too, like, fuck, why is Rhea Ripley not on here?
Ripley's listed at number 11. So she just didn't make the top.
Because Charlotte didn't help her. That's why. How did Charlotte help her get over? How?
That's true. But the reason why I'm looking at it, because you're saying, well, that's right, because that was another flaw of Charlotte, is that she didn't put her over like she was supposed to when she went down to NXT, so you went down there for no fucking reason. But also, like we praise Adam Cole all the time being Mr. November at this time last year. But Rhea Ripley fucking did a boss-ass job too, because she was in War Games and Survivor Series, and she won both. She won both of them. And then she was in NXT. Like, real talk, she's the first NXT champion, men or women, to defend that championship at WrestleMania. Like, that's some big-ass deal right there. Like, that's some, like, top 10 level shit right there. Like, I'm not saying she should be in the top 5, but after doing those accomplishments and, like, carrying that belt all the way through, what the fuck are you talking about? You literally started in October, and her November was off the fucking chain.
I will say that if it wasn't for, I think Bianca stole a little bit of Rhea's spotlight, because as much as Rhea made an impact going into November, into Mania season, Bianca, we came out going into Rumble like it's gonna be a triple threat, right? Like they have to make it a triple threat. Like
Right.
Bianca is that chick.
Yeah.
Like it has to be a triple threat. So I'm interested to know where Bianca is gonna fall on that list as well. And I know
Bianca's
kinda,
23. She is sandwiched. She's sandwiched between.
All
right, I'm out.
Decent.
She's in between Kyrie's. I'm sorry. She's in between Britt Baker and Dakota Kai. He legitimately just might be signing out right now. I'm not really sure what's happening.
He might be. And I got to be real, like, Bianca Belair did a great job, too. Like, she got herself over with her strength of promo. The fact that, like, that shit went viral when she was like, "You don't even go here," was fucking fire. And again, I love when she still brings it up, like, "I go here now." Yes, you do. Yes, the fuck you do. The fact, oh damn it. See what you did, PW Insider?
Oh, my God.
Leave. You made Lisa take a leave. Damn you, PW Insider. Damn you. But,
wow, he's just gone.
Yeah. Gotta talk about
he's back.
Sorry, guys.
Because he came back. I'll start about talking Sasha Banks' husband again. He's an amazing man. My role model. My mentor. He knew she should have been number 5.
Keep going.
I'm good.
All right. I think that's it. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to say before we get on out of here about this list that hasn't already been said? Fair. This is fine. All right, guys. So make sure you be on the lookout for that that giveaway we're doing with the Vampiro Blu-ray. Make sure you follow Instagram.com/THS.wrestling and for more details on that coming up. Does anybody else have anything to? I'm gonna have top 5 Halloween Havoc matches coming out this week, I believe. On our YouTube page. Check that out. Make sure you also check out Johnny's top 10 people who should have been in Retribution.
Yep, you'll never guess who number 1 is, but he's pretty awesome.
There you go.
I can't be blind.
Does anybody else have anything they would like to plug before we get on out?
Oh, and make sure you keep going, check it out. We have those Kevin Nash interviews that are coming out in bits and pieces, highlights. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel, check out those as well. And as always, again, just when you see those, please share them, put it out to other people, because that's generally what helps us to grow as a channel, as a brand. So please, like, share those with your friends and like groups and everything like that. Let them know what we're doing over here.
Justin, you missed it. I'm gonna drop these time codes to you, brother, and you'll see what happens.
Yep.
He gone. Spoiler alert. He gone. Nothing else to plug, huh? Nothing. Tornado Tag Radio, my podcast. We just did a full recap of some of the GCW collective shows, how far behind we were on G1. Congratulations to Kota Ibushi for winning the whole thing in a banger of a match.
Where's that clapping coming from?
I don't know. I think SpongeBob's doing it. I'm not really sure. And then we also talk about the anniversary show at great length. So if you want to hear a longer conversation about that, me and my buddy, my buddy Chris joins me this week. Tornado Tag Radio. It's on all of the podcasty platforms.
I got something to shout out before we go.
Okay,
SpongeBob, go ahead.
SpongeBob.
Shout out producer Junior. Hanging out with good old Johnny Morrison.
My God.
Johnny Impact. Johnny Lucha. All the Johnnies.
Johnny Mundo.
And also hanging out
Who
with
that?
the man.
Who that?
Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And then that was SpongeBob Ray Phoenix.
Nice.
Yeah, so
big things.
Big things. Big things.
All right, let's get on out of here, Johnny, unless you have anything.
Nah. Just as always, go check out the YouTube channel and help us out.
All right, Facebook.com/THS Wrestling News, Instagram.com/THS.Wrestling, YouTube.com/that#show TV, Twitch.tv/that show. But most importantly, guys, that#show.com for everything trending in geek pop culture. And we'll see you guys next week.
Tegan.
Bye, EO. Bye, EO.
Bye.
This is
good luck out when you have it, EO. You got this.
Heal well, Tegan.